What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Fantasy and Frames Best Ball Show. I am Stacy Perez. She is Stephanie Miller. Guys, we are going to be doing a really fun draft tonight with our friends over at the Kentucky Fantasy Football State Championship. We have got it going on right now. Actually, our draft just started. So I'm throwing up the draft board here so you guys can see exactly where we are at. Stephanie, how are you doing? How's your night going?
It's going pretty well. I'm doing my very first Kentucky draft here, so I'm excited to get a chance to do a new format on a new platform, and this is going to be really fun, I think.
Nice. I think so too. I think we're gonna have a good time with this tonight. It should be a lot of fun. Guys, make sure that you are going over to YouTube and hitting subscribe on our channel, please, so you can get notifications every time that we're putting content out, drafting, so you can jump in the drafts with us. This, like I said, this is a 28 round, just absolute behemoth of a best ball that we're going to be doing tonight. So buckle up, get something good to drink. Since we're doing it with the Kentucky League, make sure you're going to get a nice little glass of bourbon going, something like that, just to get on trend there. This has got a third round reversal with it as well. So once we get down to team 1 picks for the second time, it's going to go right on back to team 12 to make their pick. Got a few interesting little quirks about Kentucky. So for those of you that don't know, the Kentucky Fantasy Football State Championship, based out of Louisville, we had their commissioner Farrell Elliott on the show last week. They do several online tournaments. They do a main event contest, one in Cincinnati, Ohio, and then another one in Louisville. This specific this specific draft, rather, like I said, goes 28 rounds. It's self-contained, so it is just these 12 teams that are fighting for a chance to win. What we are winning in this particular group is we are going to be winning a free entry into the main event next year, which is a $300 value, or you win some cash. Second place gets a credit for a team next year. So a lot of good stuff to do. This is going to be a really fun draft. Also, something that we haven't been doing lately, right? Kickers and defenses are up for grabs in here. So like I said, 28 rounds. You're going to want to make sure that you stack up on your defenses, stack up on your kickers. This is not a tight end premium. Defenses here are scored a lot higher than in some other leagues. It's something really fun in the way that Kentucky does their scoring. So you get negative points for anything above a 23 for points allowed. Sacks, picks, touchdowns, things like that obviously are going to get you points. You get up to 20 points for a shutout, okay? And you get penalized for not starting a defense. So make sure to look at your bye weeks and everything, because if you hit a week where you don't have a defense going, you're going to get hit with a negative 15. Nobody wants that, right? So I'm going to be up here. I'm actually on the clock right now. So my team thus far, it's a 60-second clock, so I can talk to you for a second, because actually 2 of my guys that I want are still in my queue, so I'm all right. We have got, actually, I think somebody's in my queue, but I'm kind of thinking about doing something else here. I'm drafting out the 8 spot. I've got Travis Kelce. I thought he was a good value there for 8. I was thinking about going Mahomes since Hurts and Allen just went, but I feel like that's, I've been doing that a lot, right? That's kind of boring. Kelce and Mahomes, right? Let's do something let's shake it up a little bit. So I think I'm gonna take when Mr. Garrett Wilson, he should be showing up on our board here in just a second. I think we have just a tiny smidge of a delay. There he goes.
About a 10-second delay, I think.
Yeah, but I got a little Garrett Wilson action there. Look at that. I could have the number 1 tight end and potentially a number 1 receiver. Maybe. Who knows? Steph, you're going to be coming up here pretty soon. Steph, you're drafting out of the 4 spot. So you've already got Cooper Kupp.
Another guy that could, possibly be the number 1 receiver.
Exactly.
He's kind of done it before, so
can't go wrong with Cooper Kupp, right?
I think Cooper Kupp is going to be healthier, and he's when he is, he's definitely one of the top talents. like I said, this is kind of my first time doing it, so I'm getting my bearings, but it's a big roster. I just am going to have to remind myself to take those defenses and kickers will probably be the biggest thing.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely something to remember. So, guys, so for those of you familiar with our Fantasy and Frames family, we've got Chris Battisteel is drafting out of the 7 spot, part of our group here. He is on the Fourth and Frames podcast. Make sure you're checking that out. They've got some really great stuff going on over there. And he just took Amon-Ra St. Brown, which was also in my queue. One of my potentials was there. But now I can't because Chris got him. And Steph, look, you're not the only Miller time on the board. So we've got 2 back to back. So Steph is making her pick. It looks like we're going on a wide receiver run here. So just roster construction on these in this league right here for this particular draft. Oh, go ahead.
Change that.
Ooh, all right. Switching up with the colors. Going with a little Tony Pollard action. All right. So roster construction in this particular draft, and pretty much it stays the same in just about every Kentucky draft, is going to be 10-man roster. You've got 1 QB, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex, 1 defense, 1 kicker. Best ball rules apply. It takes your highest scoring players from each position, and that's your score for every week. This goes through week 17, so highest score wins.
Yeah, so when you're looking at total points, you know, there's no playoffs in these. So, you know, when we're on Underdog, we're always talking about team stacking and correlation. Here, it's really about building just the best team. You can still do a stack, but I wouldn't reach to do it. You know, if one falls into place, great. If not, it's not as big a deal. And also, you're only trying to beat the people in this room, like we talked about. It's just the 12 other people. So,
Exactly.
yeah, a stat can help, you know, because then if you happen to guess the right offense, like I said, you know, your quarterback does really good. Odds are, if you have a top receiver, they're going to score a lot of points, and that could definitely help you. But don't go out of your way to reach. You don't have to worry about getting too unique here. It's a lot, smaller group, obviously, that you're trying to win in total points. There's no playoffs, so just draft the best team.
You are only focused on beating the 11 other people in your league. So, guys, this is also the first time that Steph and I have been each drafting our own team while we've been doing this show. So this is going to be a lot of fun too. We're not working together on this one. We're working for our own teams, but I think we're still going to have a lot of fun with this. This is going to be a good time.
I like the competitive juices. You know, I still always like to win. So
exactly.
I think even if neither of us win, we will still, if whoever beats each other, will have bragging rights, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we need to, we got to get Chris in there too with our Fantasy and Frames crew, see who does the best out of the 3 of us.
Maybe a little side bet we can have going or something.
Absolutely. We'll just go ahead and say that Chris is going to be in for that. I feel like he will be.
If not, we'll, shame him until he is. No, I'm kidding.
100%. 100%. Chris, when you listen to this later, watch out. That's you don't know what you just got signed up for. So Lamar Jackson just went off the board right after Andrews. That's going to show. There he goes. He's going to show up in a second, which is I'm pretty pleased with that because that means I get to take the receiver that I wanted here, which would be.
No, you're going to take my guy.
Higgins. Did I snipe you? I'd say sorry, but I'm not sorry.
I'm like, don't lie. Don't lie.
Not sorry. Receivers tend to go really heavy in Kentucky just because you are starting 3. It is similar to Underdog that way because Underdog starts 3 too in those tournaments. So, if you want to have a good receiving core, you better get them early or else they're gonna be dry out pretty quickly. All right, Steph is on the clock. Again, we just had the running backs go. They went Josh Jacobs, Ramondre, and then Nick Chubb. Let's see what happens after this. So this is the end of that 3rd round reversal. In round 3, we're going to be going back into a regular sneak format, right? Beginning on that turn after team 1 makes their 3rd pick. And like I said, guys, this is a 60-second clock here. So, and it is going to be a little bit longer of a draft tonight. So buckle up, get comfy. It's going to be a good time. Calvin Ridley. I like that. Oh, Hopkins. Hopkins just went. Let me ask you a little bit about Hopkins. Do you have any thoughts on where he might land?
Well, I saw something about Tennessee offering him a contract.
Ooh.
Like, I haven't honestly, when I'm at work during the day, I can't be on my phone. So I just saw a brief news flash. So I'm not sure everything going on with that. Tennessee was not probably fantasy wise my first choice.
Yeah.
Hold on, because I'm about to be up.
Oh, you're
But
picking.
I would much rather see him like Detroit or Kansas or somewhere fun with a lot of scoring. I think okay on the clock, and then I'll finish here.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna go with DK Metcalf though.
Oh well, if I sniped you on T, you sniped me on DK Metcalf. So
good.
So this is funny. So in our chat over here, Chris says that we sniped him hard with that Wilson pick, and then Cactus Jake, which is Team 12, jumping in saying he forgot this was 28 rounds. He's been doing a lot of slims lately. Jake, I feel you. I feel you with that. So definitely gotta remember. Yeah, with Hopkins, I mean, I just don't know what to think about Tennessee, right? I mean, that's great, I think, because I don't think anybody's really going too hard on a Tennessee, with that offense. I mean, other than what Burks, Chig, and Derrick Henry. Not really.
Here's if Tannehill plays and throws, I like it a lot better. I mean, so is that like if they did sign him, is that a sign that maybe they're going to start him and actually try to win some games? Because I don't think to me, that's not a move you would make if you're totally trying to tank, right?
Exactly.
Because Levis is not supposed to be very good from what we hear, unless he's lighting it up or they have a lot more faith in him. I don't know. It kind of caught me off guard. I'm not gonna lie. I would hope he goes to, like I said, a more fun offense.
Yeah.
That's high scoring, but maybe if Tannehill, I mean, they always seem to make the playoffs, right? Even though they never seem to be very good.
Do you think it's just that division?
Pardon?
Do you think it's just that division that they're in? Is that why they just make the playoffs? Is it because that division kind of sucks?
They're well coached. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think they do a lot with what they have. I think Vrabel is a pretty smart guy. I'm excited also. We talked about Derrick Henry, but I'm also pretty excited about Spears.
Yeah.
And he's getting some nice buzz out of camp. So
I do. I like Spears too. And he's pretty cheap to get, towards the end of the drafts when you're looking at, kind of filling in, your running backs if you've gone a little more heavy with the yellow.
He's moving up though. People are catching on because I used to get him towards the end of drafts every single time I was taking him because I thought the value was just amazing. But he's definitely moving up quite a bit lately. And I mean, you'll see that, a little blurb here and there from, the beat writers, and guys will jump quite a bit both ways.
All right.
Oh, I see the chat now.
Yeah. If you scroll down on your dashboard, you can see the chat in there. Jump on in there. It looks like we got everybody's. It's early, so everybody's still pretty chatty. All right, so I gotta decide. I'm gonna do a turn here. Oh, McLaurin. I got sniped on McLaurin. I was hoping he wouldn't go just yet and make his way back to me, but that's okay. I have a backup plan. So the guy who's on the clock right now, that would be Packers 15, so team 11. That is the one and only Mr. Jay Reed from Chasing the Helmet. Guys, he is going to be coming on here in just a few minutes, about 10, 12 minutes or so. Jay's going to be joining us to hang out for a little bit, talk through some of his picks, kind of go over, his best ball process with us. I think you're really going to enjoy that. Jay is just such a great guy and such a great player. I think there's a lot to learn from his wisdom in fantasy. And he took Gibbs for me, so I'm going to have to give him some crap when he comes on.
We get a claim a new player, right?
Yeah, my queue is looking a little slim over here. I better take a look and see what else I want to do with this little group over here. My little band of misfits. See how I can keep this team going.
Oh, I was searching for a guy and I'm like, oh, he's already been drafted. I mean, it wasn't even immediate. I was just kind of looking ahead and I was like, where do I have him ranked? And then I'm like, oh,
Wait a
okay.
second. Who did that?
Not as low as I was expecting. Ooh, I really like Team 7, CD, Amon Ra, DJ Moore, Jacobs. That's nice. And I'm not gonna lie, yours team looks pretty good too there, Stacy, with Kelsey and some nice receivers.
I'm always a little like afraid, right, to not go receiver first. Just because I usually don't like how it ends up after that. Like if I take like Eckler or somebody like that, McCaffrey, like I usually just don't like my build after that. So I tend to stick with my receivers at least right off the bat. But I just couldn't help not taking Kelsey there right at that value for 8. I mean, he's Travis Kelsey. So what else needs to be said, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I am on the clock. I'm torn. I have one option here, although I'm thinking about doing something else. But you know what though? I think I'm gonna stick with my yellow. I think I'm gonna do a homer pick and I'm gonna take Christian Watson. Go Pack Go. Christian, don't let me down. I hope that offense doesn't just absolutely bomb this year.
So I do think that you did, I agree. I liked how you took Kelsey and then went to receiver because otherwise I think you would have gotten shut out. I'm learning that on here you said that, it's a little bit wide receiver heavy, similar to Underdog, which I wasn't quite sure how it was going to go. Like I said, this is my first time drafting on here. I like to go receiver typically in the first round as well because not just that I want to get those access to those wide receivers, but also that I think that the round 2, a lot of the round 2, round 3 running backs are stronger than some of the receivers in that range. So I like to have the ability to start there, like I kind of did with Pollard, if I decide to have an anchor running back and build out that way. I think that's a better place to do it where you can actually gain on some value of guys that are in that range. And then you can go back to receiver where it's stronger and then running back kind of starts to go back down. But I think I am going to pivot here and take a quarterback.
Ooh, okay.
Because, I am trying to score the most points and this guy did score quite a bit of points last
Justin Fields, yes.
And I feel like he can do it on his own. Again, I don't really need to stack him or do anything. No. He can run it.
You got you Justin Fields.
He makes me feel pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah. With the elite. I still think he could be an elite, score close to those top guys.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. I'm a big fan of Justin Fields. I think I actually picked him up off waivers last year in a league. If you can believe that.
Well, as someone who had him in Scott Fishbowl and had to start him the first half of the season, I can because I was close to dropping him.
Yeah.
As bad as he was at the beginning, point-wise. So I could see someone getting frustrated.
Oh, yeah. Easily. All right. So Mixon just went off the board. Dobbins went off the board. We just did the turn in the 6th round. So you know what you were talking about with the running backs here and the value a little bit later on. I was just going through the list here, throwing a bunch of guys in my queue, and this is kind of like my sweet spot for running back, like right here with these guys. Like if you're not going to take one of the big time guys and do a little bit more heavier receiver, I really like the options that you can get in this round, in the next couple rounds with running back at this point.
So I don't know why he's still there because, I was afraid he'd rise a lot. But when he's not rising that much, I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger. Okay, well, I'm trying to draft.
Oh, I think I know who you're going to pick. I can't wait to see if I'm right. Ooh, there we go. Okay. I thought you were going to go with a tight end because I see a tight end in our list here who is
I missed him.
very past ADP.
You got lucky. I was not. Oh, goodness. I'm mad now.
That's okay. So George Kittle is who I
I'm
was
really mad. Okay, I had my screen. Okay.
You didn't scroll far enough. But let's talk about
I was scrolling at the wrong point.
Like, let's talk about Madison. I mean, I think this is kind of where he's been going, right? Like around this area.
Well, that's kind of what I looked at, so I didn't think anything of it. Again, I'm not very used to this site.
No, that's okay.
I didn't see everybody, but yeah, he I think really could be going probably in the 4th or 5th round. Now that we know that he's going to be the number 1 running back on that team. I mean, he should be going a lot higher. And when he's falling into the range where he was going, I mean, I don't mind taking him.
Exactly.
So, there goes. I would have taken Kittle, if I was scrolled up. That's who I know you've been looking at.
So I am on the clock, and I think it's time. I think it's time that I end the yellow streak here, and decide which of these running backs that I like the best. Let's see. I have a few options here. And I don't know. I'm going to take somebody that I haven't taken in a while. And let's hope that it works out for me. I'm going to take Dameon Pierce.
That's one of the ones I was looking at. I was looking at either Pierce or Swift.
Yep. I have both those guys on my queue. I had both of them on my queue, but I decided, you know what? I've taken Swift in a couple places, especially with a Philly stack. But I don't have any Pierce yet. So, obviously we're not too worried about like exposure and things like that. This is a self-contained league. But just, if you're doing a lot of these drafts, just kind of fun to kind of shake things up a little bit if you have a player that you haven't really, drafted a lot yet.
Pierce is a great start for a 0 RB team. I mean, he's a number 1 running back on his team.
Yeah.
And you're getting him in the 6th round, he could easily match some of the other guys. Because, I mean, Houston, we don't know how good they're going to be at throwing. So exactly. I think that Pierce could definitely be a league winner in this format here.
That's kind of what I was thinking. And, especially with that rookie, with CJ Stroud back there, right? Like you just said, like we don't know what their offense is going to be like. So are they going to be relying a lot on Pierce and potentially Singletary? Sure. I can see that happening. Absolutely. And hopefully it does.
Too.
I do too. I think that's a big upgrade for them, especially Burkhead and oh my God, who else? Do you even remember who the other ones were last year? I remember Burkhead, and now my brain is kind of gone at this point.
Gosh. Yeah, because I remember, because Sexy Rexy always has that one week that he does something.
Yes.
Because I remember then I bought him off waivers, and then of course he was worthless after that.
That's how it always happens.
Now
right?
I'm having even receivers. I mean, it's just a comedy. So who is? Do you have a favorite Houston receiver? Who do you think?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with Mechie right off. I'm gonna go with Mechie, but you know who I really enjoy is Tank Dell. I think that could be like a nice little sleeper because he's going so late, but I just keep hearing all these reports about how they're spending so much time together and how Stroud was really instrumental in getting the Texans to draft him. And I think one podcast that I listened to said that, they were like hanging out in Houston together because Tank Dell is from that area. And so like he's showing him around, telling him where to go, like all this stuff. So I'm kind of like, like that. Maybe they could be the poor man's version of Stafford and Cup, right? From a couple years ago where they're having breakfast together every morning and just have like an insane connection. Maybe that's, that's what will happen in Houston. So I've been kind of, and honestly, I mean, getting a Houston stack late is pretty easy to do and pretty cheap, right?
It's one of my favorite. If I get shut out or like sniped on somebody, I will make a backdoor Houston stack all the time because it is. It's easy to do. You can do it with Carolina too, though. I mean, you can do it with a few of the, either one of the rookies back there. But I like Dell as well. I've heard, a lot of the same buzz going on and the connection and stuff. The only thing I worry about a little bit is his size.
Yeah.
And I also like Mechie because, I mean, they took Mechie, he was, second round pick. But
Well,
hopefully his health comes back in. And the way he, the role he plays, he could demand a lot of targets. And I like Nico. So, and then Robert Woods, I think, can still play a little bit. I mean, I think he'll still get targets, maybe, we'll see. So they could end up being better than we think. And then Schultz, I think, is a good safety blanket. It seems like a lot of people are really down on him, but I always like the tight ends with the rookie quarterbacks because they, again, they use them a lot for their safety blankets. And he's pretty quarterback friendly. I mean, he doesn't offer you a whole lot of, yak yards or anything, but he can, catch the ball, move the sticks a little bit, get open.
Exactly. And I think he's shown what he can do, in Dallas there with Dak, right? He had a great year with Dallas, was very productive. So, there goes Jay again, sniping my guys. He's going to be here in 1 minute. Here he comes right now. We're going to go ahead and get Jay on here. Jay, welcome to the show, everybody, guys. This is Jay Reed, Chasing the Helmet. Stephanie, introduce you to Jay.
Hi, how are you doing, Jay?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing, Stacy?
I'm good. I would have been a lot better had you not taken Rachaad White just a second ago because he was.
Well, I left you Patrick Mahomes in the second round. I thought you'd stack with Kelsey, but you passed on that. I was surprised.
I did. So you know what I was thinking? I was like, I have a few Kelsey Mahomes stacks, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna do something a little fun, shake it up a little bit, grab me some Wilson. It took me a second though because I saw it there and I was like, oh, this is so tempting. This is so tempting. But I just.
Well, you got the value. I saw you scooped up the value on Christian Watson.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I was contemplating him a round ago, and you scooped him up, so you got great value there.
Well, I knew if I didn't take another receiver there, that later on when Jim looks at this draft, that he would yell at me. So I have to take a receiver here, or I know that I'm going to get in trouble later.
Look, I can relate to that. I got one of those too. His name's Scott Connor.
Yes, yes, we have had Scott on our Dynasty show. He's come and hung out with us before, and just been so much fun to hang out with.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Oh yeah.
So I'm tracking this and doing three things at the same time here. So,
are you doing other draft? Are you because I cannot multitask drafts like that.
No, I'm not doing the way I draft. I have a board, and every time a player is picked, I scratch it off.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So sometimes, and then the value is there. That's why I noticed Christian Watson for you was a good pick there.
Yeah. Let me ask you, because it's going to be a while before you draft, and Stephanie's going to be up before we know it. So, Jay, where do you think Dalvin Cook is going to go? Because he just got taken with Team 9 right behind me.
Yeah, I mean, I was contemplating him instead of Rachaad White. So I might have left you Rachaad White. I mean, the news out there right now is Miami. But then what just surfaced is Fournette. I think he was on Good Morning Football.
Yeah.
He's saying he may go.
Oh my gosh.
To Miami. So one of the two. I guess they're dealing with both of them, whatever the best deal money-wise.
I cannot have all these guys going down to Miami and just ruining my Devon A-Chain shares.
Yeah, I know. Scott and I have a lot of shares of him as well.
That would be upsetting. I don't know that I could handle that. Steph, you're going to be on the clock here in just a second.
You got a nice wide receiver group going there.
Yeah,
Wilson, Higgins, Cooper, Watson.
So I'm gonna go ahead and continue the wide receiver fun, I think. And I am going. Let's see. I don't know. There's a few of them I could do, but I think I'm gonna go with. What's the Marquise Brown injury?
Oh.
I think he'll be
He's
fine.
injured.
Yeah, I think he'll be ready.
Yeah.
But there's another receiver there.
There's
that's
another
sticking out.
receiver I'm probably doing though too. I'm gonna take Ayuk.
I knew you were going to do that. I knew it. I had him on my list too.
I just thought I'd ask about Marquise Brown because I was like, maybe since he's the only one. But then I'm like, I want offenses that I think are going to score points.
Ooh.
And I'm afraid that with Kyler not playing, and I know Stacy and I were talking about this earlier, and we think he might the whole season. So that really downgrades that offense. If we have Clayton Tune or whoever throwing the ball to them. Do you have a take on that whole Arizona situation?
Well, I don't want to give it away, but there is a back. I guess I just gave it away that I'm targeting that everybody seems to be passing up. He's still on a board.
He's on my list.
But as far as the wide receivers, it's going to be nip and tuck there with Kyler. We don't know, what his situation. I think he's going to start off slow, but as the season goes on, I think he'll be fine. It's interesting, Stacy, too, in the second round, typically, in all the other Kentucky, the drafts that we had done, the best balls, the top 5 quarterbacks always went in the second round.
Yeah.
So when I came back, I said, well, if I'm going to get one, I want one. That's why I decided to go with Jalen Hurts.
That's what I wanted to ask you about that, because I really like how you've got the Hurts and Devontae Smith stack there. I got to tell you, I did a Best Ball Mania earlier today during lunch, and somebody took Devontae Smith as the 11th pick overall. First round.
Yeah, he's, they're picking up. I guess they're observing from last year in the Super Bowl and that run that the Eagles had. He was the primary receiver.
He was.
I
really like it. I like your running backs too. I love Gibbs. I've gotten Gibbs is everywhere that I can grab him. Sanders and White. Those are great picks. I like that a lot.
Either Bijan or Gibbs. One of them might be rookie of the year. You don't know.
I mean, and I think Gibbs has a good chance too of giving Bijan a little bit of a run for his money, right?
Yeah, I mean Bijan. I mean, with who were they speaking to then? Bijan's one of the 2 fastest players on Atlanta's team right now.
Yeah. That's
Jordan Addison. He's been sticking out like a sore thumb for 3 rounds.
Agreed.
Typically, he goes in the 5th or 6th.
Stephanie grabbing.
There went my player.
I knew that's who you were talking about.
Yeah, I considered him, if I didn't already, for me, have a running back every team. I'm also usually a 0 RB drafter or anchor, but like I said, well, Madison was a bit of a scrolling issue that I missed, but
that's okay.
Already having 2, I didn't mind passing on Connor, but I do think that he's a good running back pick.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a good year. I mean, he's their main guy right now. I mean, they're going to really depend on him, but will he hold up? That's the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, his health.
He tends to get
not always the best.
Hurt a little bit here and there, but if not, that's a good 8th round pick.
Speaking of somebody who gets hurt a lot, I'm going to take Kadarius Toney.
No.
Jay, our minds have melded.
I have to go back to the drawing board here. That's who I was targeting. We do that to each other in Kentucky all the time. We sniping each other.
Stacy and I do a lot too.
We do, Jay. I was saying this is our first draft that we've done where Stephanie and I have been drafting our own separate teams, because what we've been doing before is we've been kind of tag teaming in our drafts that we're doing. So this is going to be really interesting, because usually we're kind of right on the same, wavelength as far as like where we're going to take people and that. But now I gotta put some more people back in my queue.
Yeah, me too.
Sorry, not sorry. But
the receivers are getting chewed up now.
That's what I was telling Steph about, about Kentucky, is that those receivers go real early, and they dry up real quick if you're not careful.
Don't worry, I'm getting some, so I think I'll be all right. But I could see how you could get shut out if you're not careful.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, when you start 3 receivers, you definitely want a strong receiving group. That's important.
Exactly. And then you've got that flex too. So potentially you could be starting 4.
And there's a big drop off. I mean, I think there's definitely a big tier break with receivers, and when it comes, you'll know.
Exactly.
I mean, me and Stacy have talked. I think we agree about where that tier break is. I don't want to say too much, as we're in a draft with everybody, but oh yeah, we're not live.
We're not live. This is being recorded.
I keep forgetting. Yes.
Absolutely.
So after I'd say probably Zay Flowers, Bateman is about where maybe now I guess Elijah Moore's been going earlier, so I guess you could maybe move him up if you believe, depending on your feelings about what he can do in that offense. But I think that after that, there's a pretty big drop off on the wide receiver.
Well, I'm on a clock.
You are.
And I think I'm going to change it up a bit. And I was kind of looking at Ingram, but I'm going to go into Juku.
I've been able to grab him. Yeah, I do too. If you're not getting like one of the top guys, right? Like Kelsey Andrews, right? You can get some really great tight ends a little bit later if you just kind of Ingram, Firemouth, Njoku. I like all 3 of those guys a lot.
Okay, who did he pick? Ooh. Okay, he took Gabe Davis. Oof, that was my guy. Antonio Gibson, I was targeting. Maybe I should have took Gibson first, but the tight ends were going, so I needed to grab one there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you make your pick. I've got some questions for you, Jay. Once you get your picks done.
Yeah, I'm looking right now.
I'm gonna throw a few people in my queue. Maybe do some rearranging here a little bit because it will be my turn before I play. But I was actually looking at AJ Dillon too to go with Christian Watson, but Team 10 didn't want me to have him, so make other plans.
Well, I am going to punt and go with Geno Smith.
Oh, I love Geno. I just as a football fan, right? I was so happy with how with Seattle. Uh-oh, what, Stephanie?
I thought I was on the clock. I'm so
No, you're not on the clock. No.
Yeah, no, I just made my pick.
I was trying to take Tino too, and I was so confused.
So that went your second quarterback, Stacy. I know you like Anthony Richardson, and he just sniped you.
I do. I'm Anthony.
You sniped both of us twice.
All right, let's see. Do we want to see? I wasn't thinking about, but there's somebody here who is just still sitting in our available player list that I don't know that I can pass on. We'll see. We'll see what happens here in a second because we've got team let's see. Yeah, team 10 or 9 rather, excuse me, has 25 seconds left. So Jay, let me ask you this because this is a good question for you, and I'll let you answer it while I'm making my pick. So we have in our chat, Jay put a great question in there. So how does your strategy change when you're playing with other managers that you know really well?
It does change, especially in the high stakes. I mean, this isn't a high stakes draft, but it becomes more of a defensive drafting strategy. What you're trying to do is prevent a stack or prevent a team from getting a player you sort of know and feel that they're going to pick, but that player would add value to your team as well. So at the same time, the strategy would be trying to hurt the other team by taking their players and improving your team with that player. And a lot of that goes on, of course, in Kentucky and also in the FFPC. So I would say, yes, it does change as when you start getting into the higher stakes, you start playing some of the higher talented drafters out there. So I would say it becomes more defensive, a defensive drafting strategy.
I like to say that these best balls over here in Kentucky, they're like the gateway drug to high stakes drafting.
They are.
Like gets you into dip your toes into it. If you haven't tried high stakes yet, you can, this one particular, guys, this was a $39 entry. And I already went over kind of what, the winning the main event, entry in for next year is the prize, or a cash prize, depending on what you choose. But these are a lot of fun to get into and just kind of, see how you like it. And like I said, the minute that I did them, I never really was into like high stakes stuff until about 5 years ago. And the first time that I went to the live draft in Kentucky, I just kind of realized, I was like, oh my gosh, these are all my people. Like, this is my tribe. This is my crew. Like, this is great, and then I was hooked, and now there's no going back at all.
Right. I mean, it's a great group of guys, and there's tendencies. I mean, you know who I like just from the few drafts that we've done, and I know who you like.
Yeah.
But especially it also matters about the location. Like if you're drafting 11th and you're drafting 12th, then that could be a battle.
Oh yeah.
Okay, because you're not gonna let stacks happen.
No.
There's a few stacks that happen in here that no way they would happen in a higher stakes league.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It would be prevented. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I like what you said, defensive drafting. Definitely paying attention, looking at what your other, other teams are doing. I never realized how useful looking at the draft board was until I started drafting in this format. With the higher stakes players and that kind of thing, just like being able to watch and see what everybody else is doing and trying to, thwart my league mates. All right, I'm going to scroll up a little bit so we can see it. Jay, how did you get into doing high stakes?
Oh, that was back in 2010.
Yeah.
Showing my age.
No.
It was the WCOFF. I had, played office leagues and neighborhood leagues and got tired of that. I was winning. I want to challenge myself. I got into the WCOFF. I played there for 3 years. And then in 2014, I switched to the FFPC, and I've been in the FFPC ever since. I got hooked.
Yeah, right.
The competition is great.
Oh, I guess I need to mute my audio so it doesn't interrupt us again.
Romeo Dobbs.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm tracking the draft right now. Derek Carr.
All right.
See, I'm not used to this at all, so I'm like, I can't see. I'm trying to find guys. I'm not sure where they are and where they go, and it makes me a little bit out of my element.
Well, it was just nice.
I'm trying to see it because and then I'm like looking at the board a little bit.
Yeah, I was just sniped with P. Ryan.
Thank
you, Stacy.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Again, I think
this kind of answers the question in real life, in real time here.
Yes. I think I am going to get in trouble for that later because that is much more green than is usually allowed for a Red Crayons team with Jim and I drafting this. But Jim is at a thing with one of his kids tonight, so I'm in charge.
So you're in charge.
That's right.
Is it still both? This team is for both of you, or is it just your team now?
Yep. So I think Jim's going to come on later once he gets done with his earlier commitment, but and potentially weigh in on some of the picks.
So he'll play armchair quarterback, right?
Yeah, exactly. So he's going to see it and probably be freaking out because I'm sure he's watching it. And Jay, you're
coming up. Now probably get sniped. You kind of know who I want here, I bet.
Let's see. Oh, well. Let me look at. Oh. Ooh, okay. Let's see if I'm right.
See if you can guess. You ready?
I don't want to say it out loud just in case. Yeah. Then again, we're recording. We're not live.
Yeah. Okay. Here it comes.
Oh, Chase. Yes. Chase Brown. Yes. I love it. I love it. That's
All right,
great.
let's.
So you've got 2 rookie running backs on your team so far. I really like Chase Brown. I think he's really set up to be in a really good role.
Third down back at least.
He was my
Mhm.
highest exposure in the pre-draft early contests I did. My highest
Really?
exposure running back. So I hope so. And the like big ones, the ones like before the NFL draft happened. Yeah, I had tons of Chase Brown. So I was excited about him going to Cincinnati because he's got a shot behind Mixon because we don't know who the guy is behind him now that P. Ryan left. I mean, I was a little more excited when we thought that Mixon might not be there, but
Yeah.
now it seems like that's in. But I think he's a good player. He's got a good shot.
Oh yeah. All right. Gabe Dabe, Elijah Moore on the turn here. Jake is got 10 seconds before he
Okay, he picked. All right, he went Elijah Mitchell.
Yep. Oh, that's nice with Debo.
Well, I need a receiver here.
We do. Let's see. Who's still here? There's one here, but I don't necessarily love him.
I think I might go with an oldie but goodie here. And when I get into this territory, I look and see who the quarterbacks are, who they're throwing to, where they're the first wide receiver 1, 2, or 3.
Exactly.
Okay. So based on that, there's my pick.
Ooh, Tyler Boyd. Yes. I like that. He's like the stepchild, right? You've got like Higgins and Chase, and then Boyd. Everybody forgets about Boyd.
Yeah, but this is best ball. It's not redraft.
Exactly.
So he'll have his spike games. Good quarterback, and just any injury to Chase or Higgins, and he's going to move up.
Exactly. Nobody's going to make you start him. He's just there to catch the balls and get points.
Exactly.
All right. I think I need to get back in the yellow, or I don't know. I guess maybe I need to start looking. I've got a quarterback that I'm thinking of for a little bit later, although I did really want Aaron Rodgers to go with Wilson. And I got sniped on that by Mr. Jeff Jacquin in 3. I know that's not Jeff. I know you're going to listen to this tomorrow. I know that's not how you say your name. But I have been around our commissioner too long to say it the correct way.
Yeah.
So you're going to be Jeff Jacquin from now on. All right, guys, I am on the board. I don't dare take somebody else in the green, I don't think. So got 49 seconds left, which seems like an eternity after you do those underdog drafts where it's 30-second clock.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It does if I knew the board in the room, but not being familiar with it, I need a little bit of the extra time to still scroll through. I put myself on auto draft at the very beginning accidentally when I was trying to add people to the queue. So I've gotten a little bit better feel, but I feel nowhere near as fast as I am normally.
I'm just gonna give me all the Chiefs apparently on this team.
Oh, you took mine.
Somebody,
Moore.
someone's gonna catch.
You saw my tweet yesterday, didn't you?
I did. Listen. I loved Sky Moore last year, and it did it bite me. It sure did, but that's okay. Because I believe in him this year, so it's totally great.
Well, all I needed was again, positive beat writing report, and I was 100% back in. I think I was looking for an excuse to go back in, and I was like, oh, there it is. He's doing good. He's catching the balls. He's gonna break out. Andy Reid never has rookies, wide receivers do good their first year, so that was expected.
Yeah.
he's still got his shot.
Exactly. Well, Jay, I don't want to keep you. I know you have got some stuff going on this evening, so I don't want to monopolize your entire night, but I just want to thank you so much for hanging out with us.
No, no problem.
Talking about the draft
No.
and you
Thanks
guys
for having me.
Oh
Appreciate
yeah.
it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Guys, make sure you are giving Jay a follow over at Packers153 over on the Twitter machine. Jay, I would love to have you back to help draft with us any other time if you want to join us. That would be so much fun.
Yeah, anytime. Just let me know. I'll jump in the draft against you. And also, we'll be drafting live against each other in Kentucky.
Exactly. That's
it's only 2 months away.
I made my flights. I picked my plane tickets yesterday, got those all set up. So I am ready to go. So
yeah, I'm ready to go. Yep. So I'll see you there, both you and Jim.
Yep. And speaking of Jim, I know Jim just got on because the queue just blew up.
Okay, so I'll let him come on and take my place. Tell him I said hello.
I will, absolutely, Jay, and I can't wait to see you in Kentucky. And thank you again for coming and hanging out with us tonight.
My pleasure. You take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Jay's fun.
So yeah. So I decided to take another running back.
You did. You went
Damian Harris, who I really like.
We just had a discussion about him with on one of my other teams that we're doing a slow draft on. How do you feel like he's, as far as like with James Cook, excuse me, kind of being the guy there, do you feel like Damian Harris is going to have a bigger role? Or do you feel like he's going to take away from James Cook? Like, what are your thoughts on that situation?
I think that they kind of complement each other. I really think that they can both eat there. I take both of them. And I think that they are going to run, at least maybe on the goal line, a little bit less Josh Allen. So I think that could definitely benefit Harris.
Yeah.
More, because I don't see Cook having that role.
Okay.
He's going to be more than just the pass catcher and stuff. And I mean, Harris was good.
He was. Exactly. He was good.
Sorry, I kept thinking I was on the. I thought I was on the clock, and I kept clicking, and I'm like, "Why is this not working?"
Well, I knew you were coming up, but it seemed like it was together. So I was like, "Ooh, Greg Dulcich."
I need a tight end. Apparently, as I'm looking at my team, I forgot to take one of them. So, it seems like I have enough running backs for the moment, and I have a good amount of receivers. So.
We definitely do have to start one for sure. All right. So you started a trend here with Dulcich, Schultz, Komet. Then Chris broke it up with Nico Collins. This is probably a little early. But I need another
Don't you dare take my guy.
I need another quarterback.
I have that feeling. Okay. Well, don't do that. Okay. Well, don't take that guy either. But I don't think
I'm not excited about this. I'm just gonna say right now, not excited about it. But I'm gonna pair him with Christian Watson to make myself feel a little bit better about that and hope that everything that Jordan Love goes immediately to Christian Watson.
By the way, I didn't take Aaron Rodgers on purpose when I had a chance and took off because I am your friend. And I felt, and so remember that later on when you're looking.
I will remember that.
It wasn't me this night.
It wasn't.
Because I had him in my queue. I thought about it, but then I was like, maybe I'll just take Goff instead.
That was team 3. And see, I had Goff in my queue too. I like pairing him with somebody, but I shockingly enough don't have any Detroit players on this team, which is quite the unusual thing for me.
Both of us.
I am quite a fan of that Detroit offense. So, but today I'll have stuff on. I'll have to show it later. Maybe I'll post it. I did a Best Ball Mania draft earlier today, and it was the most insane draft I've ever done. I had a lot of Atlanta, and I just don't even know how I'm gonna feel about that.
I'm sorry.
I know it's kind of like
I'm like Bijan or one of the receivers, but I mean I'm like, what do you mean by a lot?
A lot. So I had Bijan, I had Pitts and London. And I was like, well, somebody's gonna get the points there. It's gonna be one of those 3 people. Hopefully. Anyway.
And did you take Ritter with him?
No, I didn't. I didn't take Ritter.
You need to, if you're gonna take that many, you better take the quarterback.
Well, so here's what I did with that team. With that team, I took because I had Wilson, so I took Rodgers, and then I also had Addison, so I took Cousins. And
Okay.
I thought those 2 are probably better than Ritter. So
did you do? Yeah, but if you're making that big of a bet on the offense, I would have. But that's okay.
But honestly, wasn't on purpose either. I just all of a sudden, I must have like blacked out in the middle of the draft because I just look up and all of a sudden there's all these Atlanta players, and I thought, what have I done?
Did you get in your golden retriever draft?
No, I didn't, and I wanted to bring that up because I saw
You're
retriever
going
up
to be probably too late because it was.
I
did it. It was like 75% full. Like I multitasked.
It's when I looked a couple hours ago. Yeah, when I looked a couple hours ago, it was gone. I couldn't find it, so it must be sold out already.
Yeah, it was very fast. I really wish that they would wait until people are off of work to open those when they're that small or on the weekend because I'm not gonna lie, I was multitasking and luckily I got the one spot, so being on the end, it makes it a little easier, so I had like a big break between picks.
There you go.
But it was definitely not ideal and not my best work. And I am apparently on mine making a giant bet on almost as good as Atlanta's offense is Tennessee's offense, which I unintentionally decided to go fairly heavy on. And Houston in that draft. So, I'm feeling a little bit worried about that team as well and some of the choices I made. But I do have Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson and Cousins. So you never know. They might be able to pull it out. But I also, I had Chig, Spears, and that's when I saw the news about DeAndre Hopkins, and I had already taken him. So I was like, oh no, if I have 3 guys from Tennessee, that's too much.
Exactly. So because these rosters are so deep with it being 28 rounds, it's really a good idea to take, at least 3 tight ends. You want to do 3 defenses if you can make it happen, 3 kickers, or at least 2, just because you never know, right? Once, kickers are so mercurial, if somebody gets hurt or things like that. And then with the defenses that we kind of already talked about with the scoring, but just with it being so deep, it's always a good idea to take extras of those guys, even potentially 4 tight ends, depending on the guys that you're choosing. I've got Kelsey, so I don't think I'm going to go 4 tight end unless something crazy happens.
You don't need him to, Kelsey.
Yeah.
Because you're betting on him to fill your spot.
Exactly.
I am mad because the tight end I wanted is not in my queue anymore because I wanted a tight end to pair with Goff. And I somehow in my brain thought that looking at players, I thought I had plenty of time before the part I would go. But
he was here. So he was sitting here, and I was taking a look at, the available players, and one, didn't I just say like,
that's who I was talking about earlier when I told you not to snipe me when I did Rodgers. That's what I thought you were going to snipe me on.
That was Sam Laporta, everybody, who is, if you're just listening to this instead of like watching. So I took Sam Laporta in the 13th round as my second tight end. I am sorry about that, Stephanie. I just couldn't help myself there. Like I said, big fan of the Detroit offense. I love Laporta in this position. I think that he's got a very easy path to fantasy relevance, especially for a tight end or a rookie tight end. Typically they don't produce as much, right? They're coming into the league, they're learning, not one position at tight end, but they're also learning how to block too. So, I just tend to think with Laporta, I think he's got a great path to being the tight end one there, now that Hawkinson's gone, and just being very, very relevant, especially too, don't forget Jameson Williams, right, is going to be missing 6 games. So.
I know. That's why I wanted him. But you know what, Stacy? This is my retaliation to you.
Uh-oh. What is she going to do, guys?
Oh, come on, you know.
First defense off the second defense off the board, rather. Second defense off the board. So we've got Philly went in round 13 on the turn there. San Francisco goes to team 3. Marvin Mims.
That's about all my retaliation I had in me. I'm like, I will take Marvin Mims from her.
That's okay. That's all right. That's fine. That's okay. I'll trade you Samuel Porter for Marvin Mims. How about that?
Can we trade?
No trades in here. No trades here. Yeah. All right. So now that defenses are off the board, I'm curious to see, because this is typically in these kind of drafts with Kentucky, when you're drafting defenses, like I said, the scoring is weighted a lot higher than a lot of other places you're going to play. Round 13 is typically where you see those guys going. So I'm not really surprised to see that Philly defense go first, San Francisco go second. Kind of take a look and see who else is available, maybe throw some guys in the queue, kind of think about. It is kind of, when you've been drafting slims so often, it is kind of weird to get back into picking defenses and kickers too. But that can be fun. It's a different way to play. It's a different way to kind of get your brain, going and thinking about what's going on your team. So definitely.
I never play defenses. This I am like I wrote an order of them down very quickly before this draft for ranks, but I have no idea if it's any kind of correct order, good order. I just kind of wrote based on who I think is going to be good and not, because I knew there's a negative point, so I didn't want anyone who I think is going to get like blown out of the water. Was my thinking, but this being my first time and a newbie to the defense format, I'm definitely not the expert on this part. So we'll see what I end up with and how I do on these.
Yeah. So look at that, Chris doing the first kicker off the board with Justin Tucker. Not a bad choice. I think that guy's got he's going to have a good career, right? Justin Tucker. He's going to make it.
Justin Tucker is one of the guys I probably would have drafted. I've heard he's pretty good. It doesn't usually miss.
Yeah.
So no, definitely think he's one of the top kickers.
So I took Devin Singletary there, just to kind of go with Dameon Pierce, and also because I definitely need to put some more green on this team for sure. Even though there's a little bit more value towards the back end, I tend to think with running backs. But we'll grab some Mr. Singletary. There we go. Dawson Knox coming off the board. Steph, let me, because you got a while before you draft. What's going on here with Dawson Knox? Why is everybody so obsessed with Dalton Kincaid? Why is everybody sleeping on Dawson Knox? What's going on here?
Right now, I'm not gonna lie. I think Dalton Kincaid's one of the worst picks you can make. I mean, I think that you should not be taking a running back, and then a rookie that early. And everything out of camp, everything we hear, Dawson Knox is still the tight end for the team. They're talking about using Kincaid as a weapon, but they still haven't even specified. But nothing they've said is that Knox is not the tight end. And they use him in the red zone quite a bit. He can definitely score. And I'm getting him in, on Underdog in the last round or two. There is no way that a guy on Buffalo that has a starting role should be going at that point. So, it's not that Kincaid can't succeed, but where he's going and who he's going around is like he hasn't done it yet, guys. And rookie tight ends, don't produce that much. And if anybody is going to do it, I think Laporta has a better shot, or even Mayer, because they don't have the same type of competition in the tight end role, especially Laporta, with Jamison Williams being out. And right now, there's not a lot of receivers on that team that are good. So he really would have a shot early and he goes a lot later. So, Kincaid, I think, is just really overpriced right now. If I have, Josh Allen and he falls, then I might take a shot or two. But other than that, I'll kind of let somebody else go there.
I tend to agree. I mean, I don't look. I like Dalton Kincaid. I think he's talented, but look, you're coming onto a team with Josh Allen. Here's who you're competing with, right? Josh Allen, because I mean he's basically a running back in and of himself. Then you've got Stephon Diggs, Gabe Dave, Dawson Knox, James Cook, Damian Harris. Like, at what point are you thinking that this guy is going to take targets away from those guys that are already established, already have a rapport with their quarterback? I'm just not sure that that's and where he's going. It's just so expensive, and that he's going before Knox in every league that I've been drafting in is just, to me, is just absurd. Quite frankly, but that's fine. I'm happy to take Knox this late.
I mean, this is early for Knox.
Oh, this right here, absolutely. So this is round 14.
Yeah,
and so,
I was surprised. I mean, not saying that it's a bad pick, but this is way earlier than. Again, I'm not used to the ADP on here, so I can't make too many assumptions. But looking at the other players, they're still on the board in that position. Usually, he goes later than that. So did Laporta, and that wasn't a good judge either. With you jumping on him, I'm just teasing.
well,
but again, that's that defense. You knew that I wanted him and was going to take him. So
everything that you said about him, I think exactly right. Like he's got so much more of an easier path on that team that he's on, rather than I think Dalton Kincaid does. And they're going right around the same area, which actually I think this is probably a little low actually too for Dalton Kincaid from where I've seen him. So
yeah, he usually, I mean, I've seen him fall a little bit lately, but I mean, on Underdog, he goes in like the 119, 120. I mean, he was pretty early. So.
It is. So Harrison Butker off the board.
I like him.
Yeah.
The two kickers' names I know are gone. No.
Kicker news out of Tampa. I don't know if anybody's excited to get any part of that Tampa offense. But if you were, Rodrigo Blankenship supposedly signing with them, our former Indy kicker.
Nice. Now do Dallas.
Look at that. We've got New England and Dallas back-to-back defenses. This is something that you see pretty frequently in Kentucky drafts and best ball. Just like I said, a few times now, just because of the way that defense is weighted. It's not uncommon to see people go back-to-back with their defensive picks. And just because I don't think I mentioned this earlier, the ADP that is being used here is a combination of the FFPC ADP and then also the Kentucky ADP. So it's just a combination of that as well. So that's kind of where these rankings are coming from.
So that does then affect a little bit where these tight ends are going, right? Since FFPC is tight end premium, even though this league is not.
Exactly.
Okay. So I'm not off base in my thinking there.
No, so definitely something to kind of watch for is that those tight ends are weighted a little bit heavier just because FFPC is tight end premium. I can't help myself. I think I've got to get in with the trend here. I think I'm going to do a blue off the board with I think I'm going to take that Jets defense to match up with my Garrett Wilson. Can I stack a receiver and a defense?
Why not? I mean, I would have to look. I'd have to look at the scoring a little bit more in detail to tell you if I think it was a bad idea. But I don't. Oh no!
Oh, Buffalo's gone.
That's. I was going to take Buffalo. I figured they're going to be winning games.
I think so. I feel like they've got a pretty good defense. I don't think you can go wrong with that Buffalo defense at all.
And my other player I wanted just appeared out of my queue. Oh, I'm doing really good right now. So I am going to, because I need tight ends in case anybody didn't see that. So I think I'm going to go with Baltimore.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I want to think that they're going to be pretty good this year, and they've had a decent defense in the past. So
they have.
I'll hope that trend continues. And since I can't get Tucker, I can at least get their defense.
There you go. What's kind of fun to stack too is your quarterbacks and kickers. here. I don't really have a reason for it. I just think it's fun to do sometimes.
Except then I feel like they're not throwing touchdowns and they're getting field goals, so you're kind of betting the opposite a little bit. So that might cap your ceiling a tiny bit. But, I mean, you're still betting on the defense doing well. Unless, what are extra kicks? How many points you get for those again?
You know what? I don't have it right in front of me.
Okay. I was like, if you get a good amount for the extra points, then it makes sense.
I think they're just as typical extra points go. I don't think anything crazy. No extra big bonuses or anything like that.
I don't even know what the typical is because, like I said, I hardly ever play. Yeah. I mean, I am going to be playing in a few leagues with them, but so I do need to get some practice here with the kickers defense stuff because it is hard when you haven't done it in a while. It makes you think a little bit differently, which is always good to have. So I am going to take a, I guess we'll call him a tight end, but I don't think he's playing tight end. I don't think he's playing quarterback.
Oh.
I don't know where he's playing. But what I have heard is that they are going to use him a lot and that they think that the last coach didn't always use him enough.
Which is just the funniest thing I've ever heard.
I don't know what this man has on people. Like, I swear he must have, like, blackmail. I don't get it, but you know what? Oh, no, I'm not on the clock.
You will be, though, in about 30 seconds. Okay. I am right there with you, Steph. Like, I tend to think that that Taysom Hill, if that's who you're taking, I think it is. I tend to think that he probably has naked pictures of somebody. And that's why he keeps getting used as much as he is. Like, I honestly, if he doesn't, I don't even care. I want that story to be real. I just think that would be the most. We need like an ESPN 30 for 30 on this in a few years once he retires and gets out of the league and everything. I just, and can you even, I mean, with that, like, they don't think the last coach used him as much. Like, what else do you want the man to do? I mean, he literally played every position. I mean, do you want him to play defense also? Like, is he going to be out there like doing punt returns? Like, what on earth?
Look, if I get points for it, I'm happy. And I was told, I remember last week very specifically that if your player does any of the things on here, you get those points for that player.
Yeah. Yes.
So I am very happy to take him in this format and get the points for whatever. So if they want him to return punts and he scores that way, I will take whatever touchdowns he wants to give me.
Oh, yeah.
However he wants, because you know what, if I am going to be a little lighter and, going later on tight end like I kind of have here in this format, I mean, I think that he's a guy that, I mean, he could get me 0 points or he could get me a lot of points. And there's probably not a lot of in between. But he's somebody I like to bet on. And I did want more exposure to just with all the rhetoric that's been going on. I don't think I'm lying about wanting to use him, so.
I'm gonna let you keep chatting for a minute because I am on the clock here, and I am trying to figure out.
So I want to look at a couple of these teams. So we've seen, like you're talking about, so yeah, some of the defenses and a few kickers starting to go. I like that Jerome Ford pick. I like Chuba Hubbard. Ooh, and there goes. So now we're talking about landing spots and that we're not sure who goes to Miami, but somebody. And you were talking about H-Chain, you were worried about your exposure, but I think it could affect, Moser and Jeff Moore.
Wilson?
I feel like, a little bit more than it would A-Chain, somebody else go in there. Because I feel like he has a kind of a defined role when he does.
Yeah, with what he does, with what he brings to the team.
And so are you worried about your Mostert pick?
Well, he's my 5th running back, so I'm going to say no. At that point, I mean, if I was worried, and if it was like a redraft or something, then yeah, I think I'd be a little bit more concerned. Not knowing when to start him, when not to. If you're starting Raheem Mostert on a redraft, you got some other issues probably with only starting 2 running backs. But in best ball with where I've got him, I think they're in the 16th round. I think I'm okay with it. obviously I would just much rather Dalvin Cook take his talents elsewhere besides South Beach. But yeah, no, thank you. But if he does, it's not going to be the worst thing in the world either.
So do you think that Dalvin Cook still has talents, or do you think he's washed?
Ooh, I think he has. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that he's washed. Just me personally, I have never been a big Dalvin Cook fan. And I don't really have a good reason for you. There are just some players, and I don't know if it's just me or if other people feel this way too, but there are just some players that I just, are just not, no, I'm just not going to draft. I've just never been, kind of into them. Maybe it's just vibes or something I get. But I've just never been a Dalvin Cook person. I've never really taken him. So I'm not going to go as far to say that he's washed, but I definitely think he's, he's hit his peak, and I think that he's probably on the downside of that at this point. I think there are certain things that he can bring to a team for sure. But I don't know necessarily that that at least it's going to be something that's enough to intrigue me or entice me enough to want to hit that draft button for Mr. Cook. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think I have any Dalvin Cook, and that was before he was cut. Yeah. So he didn't look good last year. And I mean,
right.
He's had that shoulder that's bothered him for a long time. And yeah, I mean, he was just very disappointing. And I mean, and they used him a lot. So, I mean, he's not going to get the type of volume anywhere else he goes. And I don't think he could handle it even if he did.
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, I agree. I mean, I think he has something, but I don't know how much he can handle. And I don't know how much they'll end up using him. But the amount of money he wants, probably of all the undrafted guys, I'd probably take Lenny the most, I'd say. Because I think he can still catch some passes. I mean, he's still got a little bit. I don't take like any Zeke. I've been off a hunt. But I mean, any of those guys, when they do get signed, are going to still move up a few rounds. But I just don't know how much they all got left. So I don't want to be overexposed to any of them, I feel like.
If you had to rank our top free agent running backs, how would you rank them?
Oh, Max Cook is still.
That's a gross question, right?
It really is. I mean, yeah,
I'm going to be.
I have to.
I'm letting you do it.
Well, like I said, I guess Cook, and then Lenny, Zeke, Hunt.
Yeah. I feel like that.
Right?
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because I on our show last night we talked about Pollard, and like what if Zeke comes back in that running back room? Like, does that change anything with Pollard? Like, let me ask you, because you're the Dallas fan, you're in the heart of Cowboy country. Like, how do you feel if does it change anything if Zeke resigns with the Cowboys?
Well, I mean, I don't want Zeke to resign, but but as far as Pollard's outlook, not really. I think now they've already made I think a lot of it last year was, Jerry paid all this money, and he didn't, he had to get his money's worth. They had to play him that much to not look dumb. And Cowboys are all about, appearances. So
for sure.
They're definitely not going to play him anywhere near that much. And we see how efficient Pollard is on those limited touches. It doesn't take much. And anybody, and I'd rather than bring in back Zeke than somebody that I think has more juice.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be better for Pollard. But I think again, the depth behind him, there's a lot of uncertainty. And so it would probably affect the number 2 back more than Pollard. But I would be happy if Pollard's price dropped and I could get him, because I would still take him.
Oh yeah. I would love to see Pollard drop. He's pretty
still underpriced.
Oh yeah, he's still pretty consistently going in that second round as one of those first top guys off the board. Well deservedly so, too. Yeah.
You can still get him in the third sometimes. Which is ridiculous. It's been a while. I've just been in some soft drafts, but he can definitely I mean, he's still definitely got some stuff left.
Oh yeah. So you're gonna be 30 seconds here. Well, a few minutes. I see this. We've got the team right behind me. So team 9 here. They just went 4 tight ends in a row. They've got Knox, Ertz, Hunter Henry, and Daniel Bellinger. So definitely, like we had talked about before, maybe doing that 4 tight end build. And they've got some good ones. I think all those guys. I don't know about Ertz with that injury coming back. I don't know if by the time he comes back, if Trey McBride's going to have supplanted him. I don't know, but the rest of those guys, I really like. I mean, especially with Knox, where we talked about him, and Hunter Henry, I think kind of gets forgotten about a little bit too. They're in New England. They look for him in the red zone a lot, and Bellinger. I mean, that's good insurance if Waller goes down, and that's their 4th guy. So it seems like a lot of purple there all at once, but those are all good picks.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to think through my. I
You're
know
on
nothing about defense, but I'm going to say I think that Cincinnati is a good team.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take their defense because I don't want negative points.
Exactly.
I don't want to get shut out because I know me. I'm one of those. I won't draft defense and kickers until the very last rounds if I don't have to.
Oh yeah, in redraft, that's my thought process too. Like I'm not taking anybody till the very end. I'll stream them every week if I need to. Love Harrison Butker, love Justin Tucker, but they go high because they're great. They're good kickers, so they're going to be a little bit more expensive. I like to live dangerously sometimes. So
kickers can give us negative points, so I don't mind pushing them back a little further.
Exactly.
Right? There's no negative.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought process too. I think that's kind of what everybody else is kind of thinking. Too. I know we've got one team there. They've got Tyler Bass and Daniel Carlson, which is nice. I mean, you've got Carlson plays in a dome there to, for when it gets really cold up in Buffalo with Tyler Bass. So, and he's basically kicking a rock.
Yeah, and that's something I do like to do with my kickers is teams that are going to score a lot of points and play in dome.
In domes. Yeah.
I mean, dome kickers are something you should always be looking at.
Oh, agreed.
Man. I didn't even realize that my back went at some point.
Throwing some kickers on my queue right now, especially ones that play in domes. Everybody, you guys can figure it out.
Who took my quarterbacks though?
So we are in the 18th round of rounds of 28. So we're coming in, kind of coming in that closing, part of the draft here. It's going to start getting real weird here pretty soon. We're going to start taking guys that, you got to reach real deep, get some deep cuts here. And when you go 28 rounds, the first time I ever did this, I think I was, taking guys that, I'd had a little cheat sheet and was looking at guys and I was like, are they even playing in the league now? Are they still there? Are they even on a team? Just because you're looking at so far down those depth charts at that point. So I can get a little hairy.
I wanted Purdy, but I guess he went. I had him in my queue at some point. I thought it was safe to wait a while.
Oh, I know. Purdy went a while ago. He was back in round 14. I had him kind of as a target as well because I went a little bit late at quarterback, and especially like with my team. So I've got Tua, Jordan Love, and Bryce Young there. So I got a lot of question marks at quarterback, quite frankly. I'm on the clock. Look at that. Better need to shut up and make my pick, right?
Yeah. Well, I took Ayuk. That's why I was looking at him. I was attempting to make a stack.
Oh yeah.
But I kind of given up that hope for a while. And I'm okay with. I would like a third because there's so many rounds. But if I don't get one, I mean, I went early enough for myself at Fields that as long as I have to cover the bye week, I'm fine.
Exactly.
It's not going to kill me. I'm not going to reach just to do it, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I still might end up with the third. I might not. Like you say, it gets weird towards the end. So
Mm-hmm.
who knows who I'm going to be picking. But I know you're a Dynasty player as well. You know, I play some really deep Dynasty
You
leagues.
do.
So I think that we're used to getting weird, you know, when you start to get towards the end there. When you have, I have some rosters, and those don't have defensive kickers.
Hmm.
So we're really getting weird.
How many? Wait again. Tell me how many man rosters?
Like 30.
30. Oh my goodness.
And I had 35 rounds because we're cutting down to 30. So we drafted 35 rounds, and there's no defense or kickers.
You're taking practice squad players at that point. You've got some guys in the XFL.
Well, you know, I was kept staring at Josh Gordon. Speaking of the, no, I'm joking. Well, he was in the NFL, but
Stephanie's over here drafting Antonio Brown.
he could come back.
He could, right?
A long time to cut him off of a team. Him and Will Fuller, I did not know like part. I kept thinking, I was like, there's still a chance.
They might
They're
make
going
it
to come back or sign.
I'm pretty sure that we took Will Fuller on on one of these last year as kind of like a last few round dart throw, just in case, right?
Oh, I had tons of Will Fuller. I don't know what you're talking about. In case I'm like, I was all in. As always, he's hurt me so many times, but that's okay. Now it's going to be Sky Moore. Yeah, I mean, we always have to find something to replace him, right?
It's like the Michael Scott meme, you know, from The Office. There's like, I'm ready to be hurt again.
Exactly. It's like over and over and over.
Exactly. Yeah. Well,
like you say,
as soon as I put Rashid Shaheed in my queue, there Jay goes and takes him. I put him in and then he disappeared. I was like, wait a second, what happened?
He was in my queue too.
All right, guys. So we are going into round 19 now. Coming around the corner here. Team 12 just picked their 19th guy. They took Mr. CEH. I think in the 19th round. You never know. Oh, he's got Mahomes and Bucker. So got a little bit of that about Kansas City offense. I mean, I can't take all the Kansas City players, so I guess I'll have to let other people take some of them.
You could, but you know, when you're making a bet on Kelsey, you kind of still want him to do really good. So you don't want the rest of the Kansas City to do too good, or else Kelsey might not be worth that pick. And you pass on Mahomes.
That's a good point. Exactly, and that's a good point. I did pass on Mahomes, and I mean, I know that was a little weird, but I was just kind of wanting to shake things up a little bit, kind of, because see, if I hadn't, right, then who would I wouldn't have another opportunity to get a receiver until that third round, right? And look at all the guys that would have been gone, right? Wilson, Amon-Ra, Waddle, Olave, you know, Smith, you know, potentially, you know, Higgins, who knows? Like, and then I'm looking at starting off my team with like a number one guy that's probably the number two on their team at that point. You know, that was kind of my thought process there in taking, you know, Wilson over Mahomes. And we'll see.
I mean, I get it.
Right?
I'm not going to lie. I would have probably taken Wilson, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, being worried and shut out at receivers, especially since I wasn't sure how early they'd go in this draft. But
yeah. Well, that's kind of what I was wondering. Yeah, I was really kind of wondering, you know, like how are they going to be pushed down a little bit, kind of like as is the trend right now. They're getting pushed down just a smidge, where, you know, they have been going pretty high.
Yeah, they went still pretty early. They went earlier than they have been going on Underdog.
Yeah, agreed.
But I still got Fields not too bad, so I was fine with that. Like I said, I mean, that's close to where he goes. And I thought he was good there, especially since I already had some receivers and a running back. I felt good.
You did get nice value. Yeah, I do like the value that you got on Fields for sure.
Especially comparatively.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, so I'm going to throw in my second defense there. I'm going to grab Denver. Steph, I'm like you. At this point, I'm just kind of, I know who's bad and I know who's really good. And then anywhere in between, I'm kind of not sure. We need some of our shoot the gap, some of our IDP guys on here to help us out with picking out some good defenses. We should have thought a little more in advance and had some of them come on to help consult with us on our defensive picks.
Okay, I'm thinking the kickers look like they're disappearing.
They do. I see a lot of orange.
Probably. So I know nothing. I'm gonna just I know a name. I recognize a name.
Hey, that's half the battle, right?
Yeah, I recognize a couple names, but some of them I'm like, wait, are they starting? Because then I see free agent, so I'm like, now I'm scared.
That's always a good thing to kind of have up that a depth chart with your kickers just to kind of know.
Let's go with Jacksonville's kicker. Here we go.
There you go.
I think they're going to score points. I mean, all their receivers are sure going pretty high. I did take one of their receivers high, but we think that offense is going to be good, and I like to take kickers on offenses. I think are going to score points and throw the ball. So there we go.
Exactly.
That's
Jacksonville.
I'll stick with it.
Formerly Denver's kicker.
I knew I recognized the name, so that's why I was like, yeah, sure.
And then I believe, did they have Riley Patterson last year? Is that the right kicker that I'm thinking of? That was in Jacksonville. Now he's up in Detroit.
I don't think so, but like I said, I'm decent with knowing them, but not all of them. I don't do the IDP.
Right.
Like I said, I don't play with them that much. I did know for like when I did Scott Fishbowl.
Right. Yeah. So Scott
Fishbowl last year.
Yeah.
And
so I'm actually
that much.
So I don't know if you can see it, but I am wearing my Scott Fishbowl t-shirt here. I got my. I'm not in the Blue Moon League, but I really liked the logo. So I decided it was going add to cart for me. So Steph, what
I did one of the beer ones too.
Yeah.
For the same reason.
Steph, you're on the
I'm going to take. Oh, I know. No, I'm taking. Don't worry. I'm going to take Mr. Tyquan Thornton, who I am surprised is still here because he has been going up the draft boards quite a bit, and I think he's going to be a big riser soon. So I am happy to take him. But I am not a kicker now, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you hadn't have, I was going to for sure. I had Thornton on my list of guys here to snag as well.
Yeah, I can pass that up.
What fishbowl division are you in?
I'm doing the live Dallas draft, so I'm doing the Whataburger division.
Ooh, okay.
Drafting out of the 3 spot. So nice. I'm pretty excited, and I bought a couple shirts too. I got one for my division, but I did buy, I think, one of the beer logos as well because I thought it was cool. I think I bought a Bud Light one because it was like our Miller Lite one that was like live draft logo.
There you go.
Even though it wasn't my division. But same with you. I was like, oh, that's cute. I'm going to get one of those too. And the money's for charity, so you feel good about it. Exactly. And you can never have too many t-shirts.
No. So I'm in the Dole Whip doing the live draft out of Orlando. And that was where I was in last year. And that's actually how I got connected with everybody from Fantasy and Frames. I met Zach there, and that's where I met our friend Joey Wright. So that's kind of how, like, my little origin story for Fantasy and Frames. That's how I got to know everybody. So can't wait to go back. And I think we're going to have 4 or 5 of our Fantasy and Frames crew at the Orlando draft. So I'm really excited to like see everybody in person there. But Dole Whip, I did get the Dole Whip shirt, but I just I thought the Blue Moon was pretty cute too. So I think it's time for a kicker. It looks like you've started a run, Stephanie. So I have you to blame for this now. So kickers, I like my kickers in a dome, like we talked about. So come on down. Come on down, Riley Patterson. Welcome to the Red Crayons. You are part of the squad.
Yeah, see, I don't think I scrolled far enough.
You just got to keep looking, with those guys, with the kickers. Keep, it's kind of like shopping at TJ Maxx, right? If you're committed and you really go in there, you can find some real treasures.
No. See, I like things organized and where I can see them all. I want to look at everything. I'm that person because I'm always afraid I'm going to miss something. And in those places, you can't do that.
No.
Like I will spend 10 hours in TJ Maxx and it will drive me crazy. I get like overwhelmed. There's just too much crammed in. I do like the deals you can find, and you can find cute stuff, but it takes it out of me. I don't know.
It is extremely chaotic, 100%.
But I do like shopping.
Throw in some more people in my queue. Oh man, I think this is so gross. I think I have to take another kicker. I think I have to go back to back on the kickers, and I really don't want to, but I think I've put myself in this position. I think I've got to. Yeah. Can you believe I'm just looking at my draft now? So guys, we're in round 20. We're ending round 20 right now. I'm looking at my team, and I cannot believe that I have not taken a receiver since round 11. Like, I am just in utter disbelief right now as I sit here and look at my squad. I don't know how to feel about
I'm having some trouble scrolling. My computer's being laggy, so I'm trying to count how many certain positions I have.
I'm going to scroll up on our board a little bit so everybody can see.
Oh, I was looking on my actual screen trying to count.
Rolling into round 21, guys. We are coming down we're in the home stretch. Use some Kentucky phrases here from the steal a little bit from the Derby. Here we go. Yeah, I think I am I think I'm gonna have to do another kicker here, which I don't love, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll get it out of our system. Then we can move on to some more fun players. There's still a lot of value left on the board, considering we're in round 21. There's a lot of guys that are gonna, have some value towards, at some point.
Well, there's still players that I take way earlier, so I'm fine. I'm not to the panic or trying to like look through depth charts or figure out who might be signed or any of that moment. There's still a lot of good players, and I mean I think it does help having the kickers and defense when it's this deep, though.
Yep,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm trying to look ahead to see. I'm like, how long can I wait? Can I push it, or do I need to get a second one?
I know, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, okay, like how could I wait? How much longer? Oh, Mecole Hardman went. I kind of wanted him with this little bit of a jet stack that I have going, but it was not meant to be. So we'll just have to pivot, and that's okay.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how those pivots go.
But I have two dome kickers still here. Also got a nice little tight end that I can throw in as my third. We'll see what happens.
I know. I keep looking. That's the other thing. It's like I'm going, okay, I have those two tight ends. I'm like, I need another tight end. I need a kicker. Well, I need a lot, but I actually am doing okay on receiver. And I mean, I feel decent about my running backs. I got a lot of good early value, and I don't mind grabbing some late guys there, to fill in because we still got a few rounds to go. So I think I'm feeling good about pushing running back a little further, but definitely tight end and kicker I'm looking at. And I mean, if there's any good receivers, I don't want to miss out.
Mm-hmm.
So
So I was like, oh, and there's a tight end left on the board that'll help my jet stack. And then sure enough, as soon as I said it, I just jinxed myself and Tyler Conklin.
I was going to take him from you anyways.
Yep.
So you know, he would. That's why I said we'll see what your pivot's like.
Exactly. All right, that's fine. So,
but I got sniped, so darn. And now I don't know what I'm doing.
I'm gonna scroll through here some more options at tight end. I feel like I definitely need one more.
All right. I know we talked about domes, but oh well. Also, good offenses are a thing.
Oh, there we go. Yes.
All right. I think I am done at defensive kicker. I don't care if you tell me I need 3. I don't need 3 in my head.
Well,
I need 2.
So let's take a look at defense, right? Because it's a little ugly right now. There are some options. So we've got Detroit, Carolina, Minnesota, Tampa, the Giants, the Bears, Titans, Rams, Houston, Arizona, last but not least, Vegas.
I should have done.
Yeah.
Darn, I missed that. Okay, that's okay. Chargers are going to be good.
Yeah. You know, when I think I'm going to fill in the roster a little bit elsewhere, and if there's a semi-decent defense and special teams, by the way, left when I get tired of doing that, when I fill it into the way that I want, maybe we'll take them. But yeah, I think I'm like you. I don't think I'm in a rush to do one more at this point. I kind of got it out of my system. Let's fill in with some more skill players.
Oh yeah, I just now clicked back over to receiver. There's a lot here for me.
Oh yeah. There's definitely some talent left.
Go with I might be able to stack people after all.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not necessarily the stacks I wanted, but
well, I mean, didn't we just sit here and talk earlier about the Houston stack, right?
Oh yeah, but I mean, I don't have those quarterbacks. Is what I mean.
Yeah, you don't have the quarterback.
I meant with the quarterbacks I had.
Let me ask you. So, does it count as a stack if you don't have the quarterback?
I mean, you're still stacking a team.
Yeah.
But I meant I was trying to stack my quarterbacks. Is what I meant.
Oh, for sure. I got you.
I still count it.
When I was looking at who's left on the list here as we go into round 22, you know, I see Mechie, I see Tank Dell there. You know, those are, I think, Mechie's gone because he just got taken. But I was gonna say, I mean, those are the two top, you know, ones that we really liked in Houston. So you definitely one of those guys.
It's not letting me switch back to all my players. Okay, please show me while I'm on the clock. Thank you. Okay. Well, there is some players I probably would take, but I do need a tight end. So I may go with, he did pretty good last year. So I may go ahead and, you know what? I think I'm going to pivot. Because I like taking this guy a lot. So I'm going to change my mind. And I'm going to go with Mr. Jake Ferguson because I think that he is still going to be the tight end 1 in Dallas. And Dak likes his safety blanket tight ends. Now that Schultz is gone, I think he's could be a little bit sneaky there. Now I feel better having 3. If I get a 4th, great. If not, I don't need it.
Exactly.
But yeah, there is definitely still some good receivers on the board.
All right. So our buddy Chris is on the clock here. Then I'm going to be up. And, you know, I don't think I can stand it if I don't take another receiver. So let's take a look at who's available out of this group right here. It's getting a little rough, Steph. I'm not going to lie. There's some good ones here, but
there's a few good ones.
Yeah.
I don't know what that says, and I don't think that they're that rough yet. I mean, that may also be.
It's, well, you know, it's
People
okay.
should be looking that rough.
It's okay. I mean, for our purposes. Although there's a really fun one here that I really kind of hope gets back to me.
You don't need more Chiefs.
I don't need more Chiefs. I promise. Well, I
How
can't
do I
promise.
know who you're talking about without even?
I'm definitely not going to promise to not take more Chiefs because there are 2 sitting on my queue right now. But that's not who I'm looking at just yet. I think those 2 guys might
Yeah,
still be
later though. But I'm like, as soon as you said, I don't know if they play, but
that's actually not who I was looking at.
there's some early guys that should be gone already though.
Oh yeah,
They're not necessarily my favorite guys, but they should definitely have already been drafted.
Ooh.
So
All right, Chris, with the Keishawn Butte pick. That's fun. What do you think about Keishawn Butte? While I make my.
I'm not. I wasn't a fan. Then I watched the Combine, and I really wasn't a fan. Then once the draft capital fell, and the reports have not been good, and there's nobody there, so that's not good. I mean, I wanted to like him, like, coming out, I wanted to make excuses and think there was a chance, to explain some of that production, but just went from bad to worse. I mean, if anywhere you could get a chance, New England would be the spot because it's not that competitive of a roster. So maybe, but I would like to have heard more positive, upbeat reports going on right now, that sound like they're optimistic on him.
I feel
that's
like
why I'm taking Thornton.
Yeah, and I feel like this year their offense is going to be better. I don't think you're going to have the same issues that you had last year, especially now that they have somebody competent running their offense. With Bill O'Brien back there, instead of the dynamic duo with Judge and Patricia. But Phil Dawson, deep cut. I like it. But anyway, so I mean that's a place where you could have a chance to make an impact on that roster. But yeah, I don't know. I want him like you do. I think he's kind of a fun player, but I don't know. It makes me nervous. A little too nervous for me.
Yeah, and I mean they're saying, talking about guys in New England, they're saying, Parker's going to start, and he's not even going in a lot of drafts. I mean, there's guys that are not even getting drafted that are starting players. I mean, that's what you got to think of, that sort of stuff when you're in these. I mean, who is not getting drafted that maybe isn't sexy or fun, but has a role? Those are guys that you should be taking. And in these drafts, they will all go probably because it's really, really deep and there's a lot of rounds. But I mean, I'm kind of surprised I mean, there's a lot of guys here. So are you going to draft Tampa Bay quarterbacks?
Oh gosh, no. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Holy guacamole, Batman. Yikes. Did my eyes deceive me? Did I see something about no, I think no. Was there somebody in the news that was talking to Tampa potentially? Do you know what I'm talking about, or did I just totally make that up? Somebody took Luke Musgrave. Who on earth took Luke Musgrave from me? That's just rude. Team 12.
I thought of doing it last time, but then I wanted Ferguson first. After I was going to take Hogg, I'm like all about the pack. Richie James won
already.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
now you have to do now you're only down to one last Kansas City guy.
Wait, Richie James? No. Richie James did not go because he is still in my queue.
It says currently selected. Oh, never mind. Apparently it's just on my queue. I have a lot of people in my queue.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Gator Jay, coming in hot and from the back. Wentz has been in Tampa. I knew that I didn't make that up. I thought that it was maybe like a fever dream of some kind. But yeah, that's right. Wentz has been in Tampa.
Okay, well, see, I told you, when I'm at work, I can't get the internet a lot of times. Like I go over, so like during the week, when it comes to the news, there'll probably be some gaps because I'm like, well, I stay up till 2 a.m. reading and catching up on everything I've missed the last 3 days. On the weekends, I'm usually, by the time the weekend comes around, I know everything going on again. But that's why I'm like, I didn't read every athletic article quite yet, but it's possible. But oh my goodness, that's just like we should be more excited by that, but I'm not.
Oh no, that's gross.
Like,
I mean,
the grossest of the gross.
well, we did manage to turn Tom Brady into Florida man, right? So, I mean, if anybody can make Carson Wentz fun, it's Tampa if he signs here. That's a debacle anyway, that whole offense. I don't know that I'd want any of them even with Wentz. Yikes.
Tom Brady was good though.
Oh no, I'm just saying just fun wise, right? Because I think Wentz, I don't know, Wentz, I kind of feel like Wentz isn't the most fun player, right?
No, he's boring.
Yeah. And I think
it's like
personality wise, I mean, if you kind of buy the rumors on the fantasy streets, right? He doesn't necessarily vibe with his teammates all the time. But who knows? Maybe he gets down here in the water and the salty air does something for his personality. Who knows? All right, I'm on the clock, guys. I gotta stop chit-chatting and decide what I'm gonna do here. Oh, this is gonna be fun. This is a fun little pick.
Little keyword?
Actually, I don't think so, if I remember right.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going somewhere.
No.
Somewhere else.
I took some Puka Nakua out of BYU.
Oh.
I don't, right off the top of my head, I can't tell you how tall he is. I mean, I feel like everybody
That's not who I was thinking of, don't worry.
Is on the shorter side.
I was thinking of a guy that's definitely on the shorter side, like Tutu size.
Oh, Tutu. Not Tutu. No. Man, I gotta throw in some more running backs over here to see who's still out there. See some good options. Some good options in the availability.
We'll see how long they're available.
Well, I think somebody just got sniped as I was putting them in there. So we are in round 23, everybody. Jay's got a bold take over here. He says Baker takes Tampa to the playoffs. Oof.
I got sniped too. Damn it.
I
was like already trying to push the button too.
You're trying to take Jeff Wilson? Who are you trying to take?
I'm trying to take Jeff Wilson. He should not still be there. Like he's sticking out like a sore thumb.
He's definitely not
anymore. I was trying to click the button, but it was not working. Oh, well, I'll take somebody else that is not a guy I normally take and don't really even like, but he should not be here. So come on down, KJ Osborne.
Yes, there you go.
I mean, it's like one of these things is not like the other. Jeff Wilson and him usually are gone a long time ago.
Oh, at this point, I mean, where did I take Mostert? Back in the 16th round? And then Jeff Wilson, his counterpart, right down in the 23rd. Yeah, that's very low. Where did Tyson Chandler go?
I don't know, but he's gone.
He went in round 19.
Oh, I've been looking for him for a while. I'm like, he's not in here. I keep searching.
So I was trying to put Chandler on my in my queue, but let me ask you, now that we have some certainty with what's going on with Cook, right? And he's gone, so no more Cook in Minnesota, right? Forget Madison. When you're looking at Chandler and McBride, like, what are your thoughts there? Like, how do you who do you prefer at this point?
I guess Chandler, just because that's what I've heard, but I still will take both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. I have
a lot of McBride exposure early on contest, but I mean, yeah, usually in like the last round of drafts now. I mean, Chandler's going earlier, but if I have a shot, I'll take one or the other.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, famously, right, McBride didn't have a lot of usage in the passing game in college, but is it that he he isn't good in the passing game, or they just didn't use him, right? I think that's the big question mark with him. So if you're a
Yeah.
McBride fan, you're saying they didn't use him, right? That he can do it, but they just didn't use him. And if you prefer Chandler, you're probably saying now McBride's got more fumbles than he has receptions.
Yeah, I mean, I think that but he's still a good runner.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure.
Sorry, I'm on clock here.
No, you're on the clock. Yeah, go ahead. You do your pick, and then we'll.
So I'm going to take. I like this guy, and I think he could get a role on the offense. I'm going to go with Tillman. So I'm not taking McBride since I have to keep reminding myself I have Madison. So I'm not to that as we're talking about it. Because I was like, wait, and then I was like, why am I looking for Chandler when I have Madison? That I was like, okay, I got to get these guys out of my queue because I will forget and do that, and I'm not trying. I mean, you can handcuff, but it's not something I'm going out of my way to do there on that offense right now with the uncertainty.
Exactly.
But I do like Cedric Tillman. I think that he could overtake DPJ and get a role. And sounds like that David Bell is going to be off the team.
That's kind of what I was thinking too.
Pretty bad. So.
All right. So we are on the clock.
Patterson's not a bad pick, actually, at this point. I think he's still going to have a role. Cordell.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think so as well. So on my very creepy Atlanta stack that I did earlier today, he was my last pick, actually.
You needed more. It wasn't enough. You had to handcuff Bijan.
Oh yeah. At that point, I was like, you know what? You've already committed to chaos. Like, let's just keep it going. That's what I almost posted it. Maybe I should now that we've talked about it enough. But I almost posted it with like the caption of like, I might as well have just taken out $25 and just lit it on fire.
I love you, but yeah. No, but I posted a team that I was pretty proud of. I got the Philly triple.
Mm-hmm. I saw that. That was a great team. That was a really good team.
With Dak.
Very nice.
But I got Dak like 30 picks past ADP. It was sometimes these guys fall and it's ridiculous.
I got to tell you right now, if I'm being completely honest, I don't know who Elliott Fry is.
What color? Oh,
he's a kicker.
I've heard the name. I think.
I like that Anders Carlson because he's a rookie, right? He was one of the rookies that got taken this year.
Who?
I'm sure Anders Carlson, the kicker that Team 10 went with right before.
Okay, I've heard Fry. I have no idea Carlson.
I think
is he the one they drafted?
Yes,
in the
I think.
Draft? Oh, okay.
Francisco, right? They drafted. Yeah.
Oh, I remember them drafting a kicker. I didn't remember his name. I remember laughing about that.
Yeah, right. Well, isn't that
kicker? It was Dallas.
Isn't that what Shanahan said too when he drafted him? He called him. He's like, everybody's laughing at me for taking a kicker.
At least he's aware.
Right. I'm pretty sure I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, I mean that sounds believable.
All right, kids, we are coming into the 25th round. There are 28 rounds all together. So we are wrapping it up shortly. Look, guys, we are right here under 2 hours right now. We're moving along pretty well, considering we're on a 1 minute clock, and and it is such a deep draft. So I think we're doing pretty good with this.
Yeah, I'm impressed. Now I have to start making sure I do have enough of every that I want. I start seeing guys. I'm like, oh, I like him, and I like him.
So I'm looking at my running backs right now to see how many I've got. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 running backs. Probably need to grab another tight end here just because I only have 2, even with Kelsey. You definitely want to make sure you're covered. Because you never know. You never know who has a spike week. Maybe it's not Kelsey. There are those rare occasions, right? When
But
they get
if someone, but if Kelsey's not having them, then you might be in trouble with first round pick there.
with the rest of the collection of Kansas City players that I've got here.
Well,
Listen, there are worse teams you could select. There are worse teams that you could have several players.
No, I mean, at least you got a high scoring offense this time.
Yeah.
Definitely, I don't mind getting a bunch of Kansas. I just wish we had more clarity. I mean, there's a lot of questions still on the receivers.
I mean, if there's if there's a team that you want to go ham on, I do not mind it being Kansas City.
Yeah, it's definitely a step up from Atlanta.
Oh my god!
I'll do it on our high scoring offenses.
I will. I'll send you that draft later because it is wild.
I'm like, I don't know if you should post it on Twitter. I might be scared for you for the comments because people are
Everyone's
not
gonna be like, this girl doesn't know what she's talking about.
They're like, why should we listen to you? No.
Yeah, right.
People, I haven't had too many like really rude things on Twitter. I've had friends like tell me stories, but most people are pretty nice to me, considering how many drafts I post.
Well, I think Twitter overall, of course, it's just like anywhere can get a little crazy. But I think the fantasy community just in general is, a lot of good people, a lot of people that are, just like there to, see what everybody else is doing and, like just be supportive. So I also have not had any like really negative interactions, which is really nice. So I know that happens out there and I hate that for people when it does, but I think overall pretty good.
I think that it's because I don't mind like somebody giving me constructive criticism or having an opinion or asking a question and having insightful discussions. That's a totally different situation, and I welcome that sort of thing. And I mean, that's how most of my interactions have been. I've had people ask questions or give an opinion that maybe that. And a lot of times they had a good reason for why something wasn't their favorite. I can respect, everybody's own styles and differences. It's just, I mean, that's the key thing. It's just about being respectful. And I agree. I think the fantasy community has really been a pretty good place, and I've had great experiences with everybody. Am I on the clock?
No, not yet. Okay. Now you are. Now you are.
Okay. I am so not good at reading this stuff. I'm like, because it talks to you and tells you when you're up next, and then I think I'm on there. And
it does. I had to mute that so that everyone else didn't have to listen to the reminders.
Can they hear mine?
I can't hear yours. So.
Oh, okay, good.
If I can't, I don't think anybody can. Mine went off one time and then I caught it and turned it off. But so guys, we are finishing up round 25 here. 3 more rounds left. Those of you that have stuck with us the whole time, gold star. Thank you very much. Stephanie, look at you taking Travion Williams, who was in my queue.
Well, since Chase Brown we talked about earlier wasn't there, because he went really early, but we talked about liking him. But the team has also talked about liking Travion Williams. So we don't know who's going to have that number 2 spot behind Mixon, but Preem did pretty good in it last year. So I will take that shot this late.
Absolutely. And I mean, if something happens to Mixon, it's not just going to be the Chase Brown show, right? I mean, Travion's definitely going to have a role there. So, I mean, the fact that you're getting him, probably the potentially like 2A to 2B, maybe a little bit lower, maybe 3, their running back in the 25th round on such an elite offense. Yeah, absolutely. All day I'm taking that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we don't even know who the B is at this point. I mean,
yeah, we don't.
You're absolutely right. We might like the rookie, but we really don't know yet. So I've laid off a little bit of Chase. Well, I told you how high exposure I had, so I kind of like to even out. I don't like to be too high on those uncertain situations. I like to
kind of like my Marvin.
I'm a little more cautious player in some ways, with my exposures at least.
Kind of like my Marvin Mims exposure, which I want to say should be back in the 40s at this point, I think. I think
That's
I'm at
very
like, I know, I think I was at like 41%
yeah.
with him, and then it dropped a little bit into the 30s. Team one, I just got to tell you, that was extremely rude. Eric Gray and Sean Tucker back to back. I thought, oh, for sure I can get those guys later, right? I can snag those guys towards the last round, but Team one said not on their watch. Team Porkies. Well, now I'm going to have to pivot, Stephanie. So let's take a look and see who we have got. Oh, Rodrigo Blankenship. There he goes. There he goes. The new Tampa Bay kicker.
Now I was saying I like the Pierre Strong pick.
Mm-hmm. You know, I do too.
After Robinson got cut. I mean, yeah.
Yes.
Am I on the?
Yeah, you should be on the clock.
Okay. I am so bad at this.
Well,
See, I'm glad that my FFPC draft is live, so I don't have to deal with trying to obviously read the screen. Because I'm like, I'm sitting here waiting. Am I on or not? I got my stack.
There you go.
Old man, Marvin Jones.
All right. Let's take Will Levis going. Okay. All right. So I need to take a look and see who might be somebody fun for me to take. What are our options? Well, you know who I see here, who we talked about earlier, and I just can't understand for the life of me why he is still on the board.
Little man, are you finally going to do it?
I am. Pull that trigger.
That was the little man I was talking about earlier.
Right. Tank Dell. Yeah. Tank Dell, come on down. You are part of the Crayons now. Welcome to the family.
See, he actually is small, so I wasn't imagining things earlier when I said that.
He is. Yeah. I am almost taller than Tank Dell. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not. I'm only 5'3".
Well, you're still taller than me, so you win.
Am I taller than Bryce Young? Look at all these little shorties we've got on the team over here. We've got Bryce Young, Tank Dell, Josh Downs. Oh my goodness. Unintentional, but
give the little people a shot.
Exactly. Do you feel like that's a trend with these incoming rookies? That they're, because this class, right, had so many rookies that were so much smaller than what you traditionally think of for
we've had, I feel like it's not just this year though. It's been the last couple of years. We've had a lot of smaller receivers. But we've seen a lot of smaller guys have success in some of these way these colleges just run their offenses. So I think I'm still always a little worried, especially at running back. But we've seen Devon Smith's done good. We've seen guys have success in NFL that were smaller. So we'll see. But I still like a bigger guy, but it depends on the position. Receivers, I think Tank Dell has a shot. As long as he might not be being press coverage anytime soon, but we'll see.
Well, I think so too, and I think for all the reasons that we talked about earlier, just his connection with Stroud, that's such a young team, and they're going to be trying to find their identity, trying to grow together. So, not just in drafts this year, I think in Dynasty too. Those are some really intriguing picks. Oh, Gardner Minshew off the board. I like that. That's fun. Does that team have Richardson? Let me take a look here. They do. All right. So that team has Josh Allen, Anthony Richardson, and Gardner Minshew. That's really that's fun. I was wondering when I saw that Gardner pick. I was like, I hope they've got Richardson to go with that.
I think I'm sticking with two quarterbacks. I'm not seeing anybody I'm in love with to jump on. And there's still, I'm looking, I mean, this doesn't feel that deep to me. I mean, like, even on Underdog, where it's only 18 rounds, a lot of these guys are, 17, 18 round picks. So
Oh yeah.
I was expecting all those guys to be gone.
Steph, remind me, who are your quarterbacks?
I got Goff and Fields.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely fine. I waited pretty long for quarterback on mine. So I've got Tua, Jordan Love, and then I snagged Bryce Young too. So I think with at least what I was planning on doing, at that point I definitely need 3.
I mean, I like Tua quite a bit, but I know there's some people a little nervous.
Well,
But
just
anytime it's this,
right?
well, it's this big roster, though. I mean, like on DraftKings, I do tend to usually take 3, which is 20 rounds, and I mean, more spots here. So, I mean, it makes sense. But like I said, I kind of waited longer than the guys I wanted were gone. So I would rather just take an extra shot on a skill player at this point. Even though we're only playing with the 12 of us, it's hard to turn off that you're competing like in a giant contest.
Oh, totally.
So we don't
yeah. It's definitely hard to, when you're when you're going back and forth from like doing a ton of best balls to going into redraft or going to dynasty. It's always, you got to make like a conscious effort, right, to switch that flip or to flip that switch. Guys, it's late, man. I my words all messed up. Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm on the clock now. I definitely need to take another running back here. There's a couple that I like. I think I'm gonna go. Here's a fun player. I'm not gonna call him little. Here's a fun player out of Seattle that I just cannot quit to save my life. Kenny McIntosh. Another rookie. But I like him. I think he brings a lot to the table as far as like the pass catching role for him. He was very, very proficient with that in college. And one of the few guys that had both 500 yards receiving and 500 yards rushing as well. So, and we know how much Seattle likes to run. And famously, right? Some injury history in that back. So
they got rid of I'm having the other receiving back they had. I'm having
Penny?
No, not Penny. The other guy from last year. Didn't do very well. I'll remember in a second. I'm on the clock.
Yeah, you're on the clock. We are coming into the last round of our draft tonight.
I'll take a shot. I could take worse picks.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I could take worse picks. That's always what you want to hear when you want to say, right? When you're going into your when you're taking a pick. Richie James, there you go. I don't see anything wrong with Richie James. I mean, in the 27th round? No way.
No, he could actually have a role. They were talking about using him in the return game, possibly, because our other friend is not the best returner we learned. So,
well, Sky Moore's just not a punt returner. Okay, that's not his jam. So let's put somebody back there who likes to return punts. We need to get Sky on the field in a meaningful situation. All right.
So Richie also did pretty well in New York last year. So I think he's been a chance. I mean, he can perform. And we talked about there's a lot of uncertainty right now with that depth chart. So I don't mind at this point taking a shot on a good offense on a guy who could have a role. DJ Dallas, too, I was thinking of.
Yes, DJ Dallas. You're absolutely right.
He's gone, right? Or is he still there?
I tend to think he might still be there. I don't have my depth chart pulled up in front of me, but I'm tending.
So that's who. Well, McIntosh needs to beat out if he is still there. That role, but I do like him as a prospect. I took him quite a bit in some stuff as well. Sorry.
No, that's okay. So we're going into the 28th round here, last round stuff. You're going to be up before I am. So I cannot believe that team one, you and I are about to throw down in the parking lot, sir. Taking Charlie Jones from me. that was uncalled for. Absolutely uncalled for. The top of my queue. Oh my goodness. Well, now I'm all thrown off. Steph, you're going to draft here in just a second. Actually, I think you're on the clock right now. So I'm going to go over my team real quick for everybody. Steph, while you're doing that. So my quarterback situation, I've got Tua, Jordan Love, Bryce Young. Famously not the best group there, but I think they've got some potential. They're especially like Young and Love, a little bit unknown, but I did pick Love to pair him with Watson to go there. So, kind of make that little bit of a mini stack. Then we've got at my running backs. I just want to kind of go over this a little bit because I know we've been on for a while, so I don't want to take too much time at the end to do it. But I've got Abanikanda, Dwayne McBride, Kenny McIntosh, so a lot of rookies. I've got Raheem Mostert, P. Ryan, Singletary, Pacheco, Pierce there. So I think I've got a pretty decent, group of running backs there. Not too bad. Ooh, Carson Wentz. Look at that. Somebody taking, is that Chris? Chris is taking Carson Wentz. Okay, so I'm on the clock right now. Last pick. Who is it going to be? Who are we taking? Let's see. It was going to be Charlie Jones, but somebody decided, team one, not to make that happen. So let's take a look. You know who's still here? It's another running back. I'm just gonna keep hammering home with these rookies. Maybe Dynasty's broken my brain a little bit, but I think this guy might end up having a role in this offense, and he would be the third guy there. Chris Rodriguez, University of Kentucky. Come on down.
So I'm surprised nobody took Hull. I like him quite a bit from Indy.
Is Evan Hull still available?
Yeah, that's why I was expecting you to take him for a while. Yeah. Because, I mean, it's just Deion Jackson and him, and he can catch passes, behind Jonathan Taylor. So it was somebody I would have been looking at, but I couldn't help myself and took receiver at the end. I just kind of went with if he's on a good offense and is getting some camp buzz, I'll take a shot. So I went Kansas City and then Buffalo, two good offenses there to finish up my team. And I don't know how many running backs. I think I got 6 is what I ended up with. But I have Pollard I started with, so I'm fine there, and Madison. So I got 2 earlier guys. So I didn't need quite as many, even though there was a 28-round draft. My tight ends are probably my weakest position, but that's
okay. Exactly.
Taysom Hill is going to do everything for me. We'll pull through.
Who are your other tight ends?
I got Dulcich, right? Yeah. So actually, I like Dulcich and Ferguson. So it's not too bad because Dulcich is getting talked up, but I was a little worried at first of how if Peyton was going to like him enough, and possibility of Alberto, but it sounds like he's going to have a good role and he's going to be the starting tight end. And then I talked on Ferguson liking him quite a bit for where he goes for Dallas. So
who is
I'm starting to feel a little better.
Yeah. Who's your favorite pick of your draft?
Oh, I think I like where the value got on Fields.
The Fields? Yeah, I think so too. So there we are. So you took him in the 5th round. And yeah, I think you did. I think you got some great value there. I really do like that a lot. Yeah, big fan. I think mine might be Laporta. Not because I sniped him from you. Just because I like having him there with Kelsey as my backup tight end. I think he has a chance to sneak into the flex spots at certain points in the year. So I think Laporta might be my favorite pick.
So guys, I might be under tornado watch here. So I'm still checking. It's starting to storm. They've been talking about it all day.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, I hope everything is okay there where you're at.
In Texas.
Every day in Texas, yeah, it's just like hurricanes in Florida, right? We don't get up, we don't get scared. We just throw parties. Guys, so last pick of the draft, last round here, Jody Fortson went as the Mr. Irrelevant of this draft. Steph, thanks for doing this. This was a lot of fun. Thank you to everybody who participated in this draft. Guys, we are going to be putting this out tomorrow. You can listen to this or watch and check out our draft board, see everything. We'll also post that draft board so everybody can get a look at the draft as a whole. But Steph, I had a great time tonight. Guys, make sure you're following Steph over at StephMiller57. You can give me a follow at Stacy_Perez83. FantasyandFrames.com. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button if you haven't already. Get all our notifications about all of our shows when we're doing live drafts. You can jump in and join us. Everybody have a great night, and Gator, take us out if you don't mind.